weekly Commanders guest, Von Miller, joins us. Good morning, Von. How are you?
Howdy, guys. How's it going?
Hey, Von, we
Doing
were
well,
talking
man.
about Bad Bunny earlier because he was named the Super Bowl artist this year. You played in 2 Super Bowls, won the Super Bowl MVP. Who were the artists during your Super Bowls?
I think the first artist was Beyonce at
Not bad.
in Santa Clara.
Okay.
And the second one they had like Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg. It was the Super Bowl in LA.
Oh,
Like
that was
Dr.
good.
Dre, Snoop, and all of those guys.
Do you get to see like even a minute, even 10 seconds of it? Do you?
No, I'm not worried about that at all.
You think he's going to leave the
That's
locker
the
room?
last thing. Yeah, that's the last thing on my mind. I think the one in LA we played Cincy, and their kicker stayed out for halftime.
Well, kickers.
and
Kickers. It's fine. They're not real NFL players. You can admit that, Von.
Yeah, I mean, that's the last thing on my mind. Though I'm trying to win the game. You can watch the halftime show on YouTube later.
Right. It's a long halftime. What did you do like during a Super Bowl halftime? What goes
honestly,
down in halftime?
So the typical halftime is about 12 minutes.
Yeah.
Super Bowl halftime is about 20, 22 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And it honestly flew by about the same. It kind of feels like college.
Mm.
You know how the college half times are, a little bit longer, about 20 minutes. Yeah. So it just felt like college. It wasn't anything, out of the normal though.
You always hear about halftime adjustments. I've heard some players say that the halftime adjustments things is overrated because between walking to the locker room, walking back to the locker room, you have time to go to the bathroom. You don't have that much. It's not like there's this major discussion. What is it like at halftime for an NFL player?
I mean, those guys must not have been on good football teams. It's all about adjustments. All of these coaches, all of these offensive coordinators, defensive coordinators, linebackers coaches, quarterbacks coaches, they're all geniuses. Most of them are all geniuses, right? And when you get guys that can run your scheme, that's what separates, those coaches from other coaches. And it's all about adjustments.
Did we just lose Vaughn?
You're able to make adjustments to that to be better for the second half.
Hey, Von, is head coach Dan Quinn, is he down in the dumps a little bit? I'm very good at nuance and hearing difference in people's voices. Like some of his pressers that he's done, the one he did yesterday, it didn't sound like the same, like boisterous, like rah Dan Quinn. Like, are you noticing a difference in him at all, or am I crazy for thinking he's kind of down in the dumps?
I think he's crazy.
But at the same time, Coach Quinn is based in reality too, and it's we're 2-2. When we lost to Atlanta Falcons, that was a hard loss. That'd be a hard loss for anybody. Coach Quinn, he coached there. He's a defensive coach. We didn't play well. We didn't play well defensively. There's so many tackles broken, and it was it could be tough. But I don't think he's down in the dumps. He's just based in reality. We had a tough loss, and we got to get back to it.
I'm going to guess you want that play back where you look like you had Algier in the backfield and he just got out of your grasp, and then he basically ran over Revo at the goal line. Like, talk about that play and how close you were to dropping him for what looked like a 3 or 4 yard loss turned into a touchdown.
Yeah, that was a tough one, man. I don't play that many snaps, so I try to. Every snap I'm in there, I want to make plays, and I want all of those plays to count. And I wasn't able to make that play. It was tough for whatever reason. He was slippery. He was tough to get out. Like Bijan and Algiers, those guys ran hard. But our coaches, they had us prepared for that. Coach DQ, he let us know exactly what we needed to do to win the game, and the game unfolded exactly the way he said. We knew they had two really good running backs. We knew the quarterback was capable, offensive line was capable. We knew they had a good defense as well, and for whatever reason, we just weren't able to get it done.
Hey, Von, you mentioned not playing that many snaps. Have you been vocal to DQ or Joe Witt Jr. like, hey, I can handle more. You can put more on my plate at this point, or are they just being like very measured and kind of careful with your snaps and your playing time?
No, we got a system. We got a system and it works. We got a lot of guys in there that can play. Everybody plays a little bit different. What I do is, I still do well. So, whenever it's time to do that, I like to go out there and I like to do that. But I don't have any complaints. We got a system. It works. In the games that we were able to win, it was masterful. And the games that we lost, they were just tough losses. So, I don't have any complaints. Whenever I'm the sniper. When I'm going there, I gotta make my shots.
Talking to Von Miller, he's got 1.5 sacks so far this season. You played in Buffalo the last 3 years before joining the Commanders. Joe Witt, your defensive coordinator, you're talking about coaches. What have your impressions been about Witt? A lot of fans talking about Joe Witt and the defensive scheme and things like that after a bad game. What is he like?
Coach Witt is great. You remember earlier when I was talking about, these defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators being geniuses. Coach Witt is one of those geniuses. He's playing battleship with that offensive coordinator over there. And we just got to be able to bring it to life. Great players, man. Great players make great players. They can really change a defensive scheme. And we got some great players over here. We just got to continue to battle and get it right.
What is it about the NFL where a team like Atlanta can be shut out one week and then explode offensively? And we're seeing it around the league. It could be, the Chargers, who's your next opponent. They look great for 3 weeks. Then they play the Giants. Most people expect them to win that game, and the Giants beat them.
It's crazy, right? The NFL is crazy, man. It's crazy, man. It is a beautiful league. They say any given Sunday all the time, and that's true. And I think that probably played in to that blowout versus Carolina. That probably played into our game as well. When you challenge men, men respond. Mm-hmm. And the NFL is full of big time players. No matter what the record looks like, it's full of men that have been playing high level football their whole entire careers. And that 30-0 blowout and Carolina and 0-3 and coming and play us. All of that probably played into a factor. And it was nothing that we wasn't prepared for. You just got to keep playing, man, and you got to understand that it's a week-to-week league, and we got to get off this roller coaster and just continue to just stack days and build games.
Yeah, we talked about that last week, Von. We talked about the fact that Atlanta was embarrassed, but they've got Bijan. Bijan's a stud. They've got Drake London. Drake London's a stud. Pitts, he can really, when he's got good games, he looks like a Pro Bowler. And those guys really looked good. And now you're going to be playing the Chargers, who had 14 penalties, 14 against the Giants. Herbert threw 2 picks. He looked like butt. I watched a lot of the game. We took the Chargers in our survivor pool.
Yeah, not great.
And we're out. Okay, so we're done. And I was very pissed. But anyway, so now you're playing the Chargers, who were obviously pissed about how they played. And mentally, they just weren't in the game. And now you got to go out there and play them, and they've got studs offensively. So, how do you prepare for them?
Yeah, I guess you just got 2 pissed off teams. You just got to go out there and see because, that game that we lost, we're pretty pissed off about that too. And, it was a tough one for us. It was a tough one for them. And, we're traveling, coast to coast to go play. I love LA. LA has a special place in my heart. SoFi Stadium has a special place in my heart. I've had a lot of great games there. I think I've only lost there one time.
Oh, okay.
I think I've only lost there one time to the 49ers, and yeah. So it's just one of those days, one of those games, and sometimes whenever you face with adversity, it could be on and off the football field. It doesn't mean more. Sometimes more isn't what you need. I think we just gotta get back in our routine and really just dot all the I's and cross all the T's, and instead of just more sprints, more of this, more of that, let's just really focus on what we do well and go out there and make it happen.
Von, I'm going to read you a headline from Chargers Wire. This is a good headline for you and your defensive mates with the Commanders. Chargers searching for offensive line help. Work out 4 players. That's in the midst of Joe Alt with a high ankle sprain. So they're going to be without their top 2 offensive tackles. That has to be good news for you and guys trying to put pressure on Herbert throughout that game.
Man, like I said, man, this league is crazy, man. Even though they don't have their top two guys, those other guys are more than capable. Going into that Atlanta Falcons game, they had some different pieces in there. Elijah Wilkinson was a guard, and they were able to keep us to one sack. So never want to get ahead of ourselves. If I'm gonna feel confident about something, I feel confident in our team and our guys and what we're able to do, not necessarily who we're going against. So I'm confident in our guys. I'm confident in D Payne, one of the best D tackles in the league. Javon Kinlaw. We got Dorrance Armstrong ready to get it rolling again. I'm confident in our guys and what we're able to do, and I just want to go out there and put on a show.
Watching the Raiders game, you guys generated a ton of pressure. I think your pressure rate was 50%. Weren't able to do that against Atlanta. What was different about Atlanta's offensive scheme that kept you away from getting the quarterback?
I think just his time to throw was down. It was a really short time to throw. He was decisive in his Then the times where he had a little bit of time, it's kind of like he felt it, and he took advantage of that and took his time and threw the ball downfield. But he did a really good job of being decisive.
So the quick passing game.
Yeah, the quick passing game, decisive throws, and if he needed time, they were able to build that in the play, whether that was play action or Zach Robinson did a good job mixing up the calls too, but it was just a tough one, and from my perspective, it was just the time to throw, and he was able to get the ball out quickly.
Hey, I just want to switch it up a little. Your boys are up to number 6 in the country after beating Auburn in a kind of a defensive battle last week. Got Mississippi State at home. That's a big one because Mississippi State's actually better than people think. You got that couple weeks ago, the unbelievable comeback win against Notre Dame, and Marcel Reed connecting on that 4th down for the touchdown. Your boys are rolling right now. How you feeling about them?
Yeah, don't jinx me, man. I believe in I've been through. It's been 15 years since I've been at Texas A&M, and we've had some incredible highs and some incredible lows, and right now we're riding high. And number 6 in the country, man, it's amazing to see that number 6 beside Texas A&M,
Mm-hmm.
and to see the job that Coach Elko is doing there, and defensive line coach Tony Girardetti. I played high school football with him and college football with him, and now he's the defensive line coach. So paying a little bit extra attention to the Aggies, and we got Mississippi State this week.
Yep.
And the SEC school. We just got to go out there and play our game. I guess it's kind of similar to what we're doing here, and the Commanders more than capable to go out there and win any game that we're playing. We just got to go out there and do it.
By the way, Vaughn, how awesome is the atmosphere at Kyle Field when it's packed? And by the way, they've expanded it. It now holds over 110,000 people. Like,
incredible.
That atmosphere looks crazy for a big SEC game.
Yeah, there's no place on earth that is like Kyle Field on a Saturday. Everybody has fans and everybody has student section. Our student section is different. They stand for the whole entire game. They're into each and every play. And you can really feel the energy behind each and every step on that football field. So obviously you got some other great college football stadiums. Everybody's going to say that they have the number one this and that. It's just the way our student section is involved in our games on Saturdays that sets us apart.
Hey, real quick, before we let you go, did you see the Tyreek injury?
Yeah, I did. And that was a tough one too. It's just a routine 10-yard out.
Yep.
Routine play, 10-yard out, stepped a certain way, and dislocated his knee out of all things. That's what the early reports say. So it was, it's crazy. Like at any given moment, like you can go from being at your best to an injury. This game is built on redemption stories and comeback stories. Like. Every Hall of Fame player, every big-time player in this league has had to overcome some type of injury at some point, and especially if you play a long time. And
right.
Tyreek Hill, he's getting up there in years. So if you play a long time, you're gonna have some type of injury that's going to set you back, and it's all about redemption and bouncing back from that.
Hey, have you faced Justin Herbert? Because I was looking when you were with Buffalo the last time you played them, you faced Easton Stick.
Yeah, I guess so. I have not played Justin Herbert. I mean, I'm a fan of the league, so I felt like I know him. I feel like I know him. I watched so many Chargers games or watched Khalil Mack so many times. I feel like I know him. So I guess not. I guess I have not played Justin Herbert. That's crazy.
All right. Well, hopefully you meet him in the backfield and sack him twice. You have an up-close meeting this weekend.
Get after him.
That'd be perfect.
Yeah.
Vaughn,
that'd be great.
Thanks for the time, man. Enjoy LA. We'll talk to you again next week.
Appreciate you guys.
All right, brother.
Appreciate you too. That's Vaughn Miller on the Rude Guest Hotline. Rude, the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV.
I believe I predicted a Von Miller strip sack last week.
Well,
maybe we get one this week.
Yeah, maybe you're just off by a week. That would be great if we could get one of those. That'd be fun. All right, when we come back, we'll give you a chance to win a pair of tickets to see My Chemical Romance when they come to Nationals Park in the summer of 2026. So keep listening for your chance to win. It's coming up next.